maybe you can define masculine and feminine. Maybe you can do that first and talk about the benefits of integrating them.
Whew. So it's very treacherous territory, the old masculine and feminine. And I've been kind of playing deeply in this realm for about the last 5 or 6 years, I would say. And I mean, here's the rub, right? It's a very different conversation if you're talking, say, to someone who's maybe practicing like tantric yoga or going into the energetic play of masculine and feminine energy, than if you're speaking to someone who's got a gender studies background or some kind of ideas around feminist theory or the politics and identity politics sort of take on gender. We've got some very different worlds there, and they all, in my world, are all starting to overlap and intermingle. So it gets very risky when you say things like, which I want to say, which is like that the masculine, from a tantric or a spiritual point of view, would really be identified with our pure presence, with stillness, with directive and intentional energy. So this ability to be penetrative and piercing is what we could call a masculine quality. And I have a strong sense that in my work I might eventually drop the terms masculine and feminine altogether. We'll see where that gets to, because I'm holding onto them a lot less tightly than I used to. But in that framework, which is very David Data, Neo-Tantra, Tantric influenced, we would also look that feminine energy is about radiance, is about relationship and connection. So whereas the masculine is more about achievement or smashing through boundaries, the feminine energy is about connection, nurturance, relating, and it's more of a radiance than a presence, So if the presence is this still kind of almost emptiness, then the radiance is like this full shininess, And it can be beneficial to use those as understandings of energy, but what I'm finding is the more I play with them and the more deep I go, the less I'm getting attached to gender roles and categories of who should do what dissolving. And I guess the bit that I want to name is, for almost the entire of history, like almost the whole time, we've had as sort of categories of men should do this and women should do this. And, if we look at the sort of feminist revolution, and people get pissed off at me for saying this, but I perceive it to be true, we have a claiming by women of what traditionally has been masculine dominated roles and masculine dominated abilities and so we have women coming into their kick-ass, get shit done energy, into their climbing the corporate ladder, gaining the vote, gaining a voice, all these things that had been in many cultures, for most of history, associated to the masculine. What hasn't happened yet, in my opinion, is male-bodied humans moving into a claiming of things that have traditionally been owned by the feminine or by female-bodied humans. So we're in this situation now where women, at least in the Western world, have been kind of given access to more power and individuality, and that's a beautiful thing. But men still haven't necessarily, for the most part, come into their nurturance, into their sensuality, into their relational skills, into their flow and playfulness. And if we're going to have a functional dialogue between those two, is that loud, that rain?
No,
or
that's
can you
fine.
hear me?
That's fine.
It's fine, cool. If we're going to come into a reality where we can have a healthy interplay between human men and women, we need people of both genders that have developed both their masculine and feminine side. And I think in men's work particularly, there's still this idea of like, okay, I've got to develop my masculine more. I've got to get more on purpose. I've got to get more present. I've got to get more this. And oftentimes those guys are already very masculine, and what they're missing is connection to their own feminine. They can't self-nurture. They are dependent on women for access to sexuality and sensuality. They are not as socially fluid as the women that they know. So there's this dependency on women to almost feed on that energy and get some. And I go out and I work hard and I maybe do my meditation practice, or I make the money, or I kick ass in sports, but I'm not really good at feeling, you know, I don't feel anything. And it's almost really, we want to drop the masculine and feminine. It's coming into a world where every person is really developed in their thinking and in their feeling, both.